Hi everyone, and welcome to another Sims 4 speed build. So today I am making a Seasons and Base Game only starter home because I've been wanting to make another limited pack build for a while, and since Seasons has come out recently, I figured it'd be perfect to make a starter home using just that pack, so that way if you want to start a game off without any cheats, you can just plop this house down and you only need to have Seasons to get everything, because I know a lot of people don't have every pack because the price of that certainly adds up, and I know I have a tendency to use a lot of packs because I just tend to not really pay attention to that, just grab whatever item, and then when I go to upload the item, I see that I use something from every pack, which I know has gotta be frustrating. So here you go, this will be pretty easy to place into your game. Although this isn't exactly an under 20k single sim starter house, I did use a 22,000 simoleon budget, which is the amount of simoleons that you get when you start with 2 sims, because this is a 2-bedroom house, so I figured it'd be fine to do that since chances are people will be placing 2 sims in here anyway. And if you do want to move just a single sim in here, you can delete everything that's in the single bedroom or the second bedroom and probably a few other things around the house to get it to be under 20,000, or you could just cheat to give your sim an extra 2,000, or yeah, an extra 2,000. So I don't know, I just figured it was fine because I knew that I wasn't going to be able to furnish this in a way that I was happy with for under 20,000. So I just decided to give myself the extra 2,000 to make this something that I was happier with, because even though starter homes are usually supposed to be kind of basic and kind of sparse, I don't really like my starter homes to look like they're bare. I like them to look like they're well furnished and still kind of lived in, even though I obviously can't go as detailed as I usually do. But I just knew I wouldn't be able to do that for under 20,000. I just like my starter homes to not look like they're actually starter homes. And I do end up still spending a good amount of time on my starter homes. Like, I think I probably spent 2 to 3 hours on this, like trying to figure everything out, which for a regular build isn't really that long, but for a build this small, like, that is a lot of time. That's just because I'm always trying to figure out like the best combination of items to make something that's cheap but still looks pretty decent. And also, as you can see, I did add a little greenhouse outside because I wanted this to be kind of like a quintessential season starter, which is why I made it in a craftsman style, because that's kind of the main style of the pack. And since gardening is a huge part of seasons, I wanted to make sure that was a part of this house and add in a greenhouse. And I did do that trick with basically just sticking down a roof and raising it up and curving it and using the glass roof to make the greenhouse, because I did see that Simlessy did that, and I just thought it was a really good idea because roofs are free. So the whole structure of the greenhouse was free, because I don't think I even had to pay for the wallpaper, because I'm pretty sure it's free when you place it on a roof. So that's just a really nice trick for making a cheap greenhouse. And I was also surprised by how cheap a lot of the build items from Seasons were, because I think the windows were only 30 simoleons each. Like, even the big windows, which I just found really surprising because I thought they're going to be a lot more expensive than that. And I think the columns were also amongst the cheapest price columns. Like, I think them and a few others were like the same cheapest price, so that made things a lot easier, that I could just use everything and not pay a whole lot of money. Like, the front door is only like 50 simoleons, so that was really handy. Although I feel like I could have done a bit better job if I had access to more packs, because I think some other packs have other really cheap items, so I probably would have been able to cram more in if I had used stuff from other packs. But I was really bent on this being a Seasons of Base Game only starter, so I just stuck with it, and in the end I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. And I think it turned out pretty well furnished for a starter home. I also stuck in the curtains right away, which I know is a little spendy because those curtains are like 200 simoleons each, which probably isn't the smartest thing to place down in a starter build, but I just feel like adding curtains to a starter build is just something that goes a long way towards making it feel well furnished. Like, just having window treatments just makes a huge difference in making a room feel lived in. So that was something I wanted to make sure I added in before I spent money. And there are cheaper curtains than these, but I just really like the look of these and just wanted to try to use as many Seasons items as possible. Like, I used this dresser in here, which was a little bit more expensive, but I felt like it was worth spending the money on. And I just think this whole room looks really, really nice. And then this room I furnished as more of, it's kind of a kid's room, but it's also sort of generic at the same time. So you could use it for a roommate room if you want, or like a teen room. So yeah, it's pretty, like, I just wanted this house in general to be very versatile for whatever Sims you want to put in, so you can just kind of go in and personalize it more as you get more money. And rugs were another thing that I wanted to place in all the rooms, because that's another thing that I think really goes a long way towards making things feel a bit homier. I was trying to use this weird amoeba rug, but it just didn't really fit into the room that well, and plus it was also pretty pricey. Like, it was a lot more expensive than this rug here that I ended up using. And I was going to use that other Seasons dresser, but I went with this base game one because I thought it went a little bit better with the color scheme of the room and kind of went more with the idea I had of this being a kid's room. But now I'm going to finish all the landscape in the outside, because with Seasons builds, like, or not Seasons builds, starter builds, I like to do the inside first, because usually I'll do the outside first and then I'll move on to the inside. But with these builds, I like to just furnish the interior to how I like and then use what I have left for the landscaping, just because I think the interior is a little bit more important to me. But this still did end up coming out pretty good. I just used a bunch of the cheaper plants, and I think it also feels pretty well landscaped as well. I did try my best to make use of the terrain paints to make things look a little more detailed, because, I mean, it's free, so why not take advantage of that? And like in the greenhouse, I ended up using some of the floor tile type pavements, or no, I don't think I did in the end. Like, I think I used floor tile type terrain paint at first, and then I ended up just going with gravel or something like that. But I wanted to use terrain paint in the greenhouse rather than actual floor tiles because it's free, so that's another really good way in which I could save money. And just like I said, a whole bunch of the cheaper plants. And then we've got a little table with an umbrella out here, although I had some trouble fitting it in because the shape of this deck is just kind of awkward because it's longer than it is deep. And then I widened it a little bit, and I just didn't like that look because I felt like that looked off as well. I mean, ideally I would have put a table like the one from Perfect Patio Stuff in here, but I wasn't using Perfect Patio Stuff, so I couldn't really do that anyway. And the longer tables were a little bit more expensive, so this was kind of the cheapest way to go. But I think shortening a little bit, like pulling it in a tile from the edge of the house, did help a little bit with how it looks. So I was fairly happy with that in the end. So here we go, placing the terrain paint in here. We got some rock tile at first, and then I think I tried some different kinds of rock tiles before settling on the gravel. I thought that looked best. And then we got some gardening pots in here. And as your Sims earn more money, you could take out a few of these pots or place them closer together and put in the floral station. So that's another use for this. And then you could also probably add in some more garden space around the yard. So there's just definitely some room to grow this house, and there's space you could add a swing set in if you want to add that in later on. So there's definitely some things you could do to personalize this a little bit more. Although one thing I did realize after I made this was that I made it on a 20 by 20 lot, and there's none of those in the base game. So unfortunately, you might have to have some sort of pack to place it on the lot size I made it on, but I think you should be able to stick this on a 30 by 20 lot and it'll be fine. Like, you'll just have some extra space off to the side. So that is something you could do if you don't have Get Together or whatever other packs come with a 20 by 20 lot, because I don't think there are any in New Crest. So yeah, I'm really sorry about that. However, we are coming to the end of the building part of the video, so as usual, there will be a link to download this in the description, as well as information there on how to find in-game. So with that, I'm going to leave off here, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the video.